When I was 13, I came to Israel for the first time. It was an incredible experience for me. It was something that I had lived and dreamed of coming from a very young age. My parents had always talked about Israel, and I'd grown up in a religious Zionist youth movement called B'nai Akiva, and I couldn't wait to come here. And at the age of 13, you came to the airport, which was not the airport of today, but the old airport. You came out, the heat hit you, and there was this small area for people to come out, but loads of people waiting to gather people and to greet people. That was probably not the case so much for people that came to the area that we're now standing in. We're standing at the Port of Jaffa, and this Port of Jaffa unfortunately became obsolete around about 1936 when the Port of Tel Aviv took over, and then later on even the Port of Haifa becomes much more famous, and today we have Ashdod and we have Ashkelon, different ports here. You should know the British actually moved the Port of Jaffa, its significance of the Port of Jaffa, because they wanted to be able to put their own stamp on the land of Israel and not have all the history of what this place does. Now remember, the Port of Jaffa that we're standing in now takes us all the way back to the Tanakh. Takes us back to that famous story that we know of Yonah, of Jonah Hanavi, the prophet, who came down to the Port of Jaffa, took a boat from here in order to be able to flee from here, from God, from the land of Israel. He didn't want to have to take upon himself what God had told him to do, and he ends up, of course, as we know, in Tarshish. The whole story of the book of Yonah comes from this place over here, if you want. But now let's jump forward hundreds of years, even thousands of years. Jump forward now to the Aliyah. Because when Jews come to the land of Israel, this is the sight they see. The port itself, the sight of the land of Israel, coming and seeing the beauty of this country, which at that time, by the way, for many of the people, it was very desolate. Coming from an area that was so built up to an area that really had nothing here. But that didn't matter. It was the excitement of being able to come home, back to Israel. You know, every year we come here on Yom Ha'Atzma'ut, in the calendar, we arrive at that day of independence. We arrive at that day of miracles. We arrive at that day where we ourselves can say thank you. Where we remember the stories of the Tanakh that took place here, and we remember the stories and the glory as well of all the people that fought for this country. It comes on the back of the day called Yom HaZikaron, the day of Memorial Day for the soldiers who fought and unfortunately fell here. But it comes on this day where we can be ourselves so thankful for what we have managed to build. And think about it today. All eyes focus towards this country. And even more so, when we talk about this year of a terrible year of Corona, that Israel now, Baruch Hashem, thank God, has come back sort of to normal. That we're able to be thankful that we're living in a country where we have Jewish independence. And today, if you were to come in on a boat here to the Port of Jaffa, you'd be coming for a good time. You're not coming on a boat to make Aliyah here any longer. You're coming into the airport. But those great people that this country stands on all arrived here, including the names that we're so well aware of, whether it's Rav Kook, whether it's Ben Gurion, whether it's Aleph Dalet Gordon, A.D. Gordon, and all the other famous Zionists at the beginning that arrived here to be able to build this country. And even before that, the Talmidei Hagra, the Vilna Gaon's Talmidim, his pupils that arrived to the Port of Jaffa as well to set up some of the other areas here. On all of these shoulders, we have built an incredible country. Chag Sameach to everybody. Have a wonderful Yom Ha'Atzma'ut.